Welcome back, everyone, after yet again another just absolutely mental second map between both these teams.
Oh, yeah.
The first time in the EU tournament region we have our first actual best-of-3 series where it went to all 3 maps.
It's so crazy, and I guess, let's not waste any more time. Let's jump into it as the final map, the final match, and the final of our quarterfinals finds its final semi-finalist. And Forza vs Vitality, as you said...
How many finals was that you mentioned?
Enough, but as you said, this is a map that on the previous one, we've gone from obviously a 7-2 in the favor of Forza on border to an 8-6 in the favor of Vitality on bank. So hitting up Clubhouse, Vitality have the defense first, even I think Forza opted for the attack, and hey, let's see if they can make it come together here.
So, right off the rip for Clubhouse, no surprise, Maverick gone. He is a big, strong operator for that top floor on the cache and even towards the gym as well. It makes quick work of any bandits wanting to try and deny access to Habana pellets or Thermite charges alike. But we will not see another hard breach or a company. Typically, we've seen, like today already, Habana being banned out as well, which has limited the attack to only having a Thermite.
Yep.
But Capital then is going to be banned, which again is another really common one. Capital helps a lot with the taking of cash room, where you can try and Capital away the bandit who wants to try and bandit trick, and then also eliminate anybody in towards top catwalk. So what this does still give the defenders quite a bit to work with. I'm kind of expecting like Mirror Echo ban. Yeah, Mirror from floors, which is what they've banned every single time. And I'm guessing the Echo, because that is what Vitality have banned every single time.
Yeah, it's a kind of standard pair of bans, especially for EU on defense. They really just try and get those operators out, and yeah, it's all familiars at this point. On a Clubhouse as well, you obviously look at where Mirror can kind of be played and the aggression she can bring, and it's less particular than on other maps. There's less obvious places, but at the same time, there's still places, so you may as well remove her and limit what the defense can do. Talking of, Vitality are going to open us up on the gym and bedroom hold, and obviously we've come from a map that was exceptionally defender-sided to a map that was exceptionally in the favor of Forza, and you're going to kind of see, obviously, if they can carry this over to Vitality to the neutral ground map. Obviously, the previous one was their choice, and even then, Forza brought it to a massive firefight. So, can they make it work?
Gym and bedroom, straight off the rip for Vitality. And we know they're a team which are not afraid to go for the offside picks. You look at Border, for example, and their defense. They were just running through them. Vince Customs Armory, Taylor's Vince Customs, just completely spread out. I can kind of expect that from Vitality as well. Not saying there's going to be a bar in stock, because there's literally throwing at that stage. Because it's not a good bomb site. Just too many things that kind of go wrong, especially if you look towards that stock. You can simply plant at a doorway.
Yeah, it's just... It's not a fun place for, I think, any team or any decider, so a lot of the times it's just a rotation of 3 points, this being usually the tertiary bomb point, because it doesn't quite offer the same solace and solstice that the other two do. So, it's obviously still the redesign of this map really worked wonders for this top floor, made it a viable kind of map, but open requires a lot to be, unfortunately, lovable. In the meantime, however, we'll see obviously if Vitality can kind of keep the defensive roll up on, as I said, a map that was a little bit more, it's the neutral ground. So it's not that they've opted to come here, but it's that they've opted that there's other stuff they'd rather not go to. The same in the case of Forza, so let's see who can kind of make it work best for them. In the meantime, Bibu suffers the opening spray of aggression through the window, and is just going to pull back and make sure he doesn't suffer, well, anymore.
It's a pretty B-Tech setup from Vitality. They have the extension in towards cash room, which kind of leads to the reason why they bring the mute to try and deny some of the drone that would work for Force. I'd imagine, though, for the Russians, they're going to try and look in towards Jacuzzi and completely sack off that entire portion of the map and just say, you know what, you can have cash. That doesn't really give you anything with the push we're trying to go for. Spark, though, does have the shield behind them. There goes the MP grade, and another one comes in. Oh, but the shield just disappears in front of him and has to get pushed all the way back. Now that wall will be confirmed and will be open now. Actually, the shield's still there. He's just stunned away. That's all it was.
He was surprised, he was shocked, he's fled, and well, I guess he might have an opportunity to swing back around, and he does, and he's going to try and bandit it. There goes the wall. Now he's got to pull away, and Spark, he holds on for as long as he can, but unfortunately it can't hold on any longer, and the wall does fall. But that is only, as we said, step one, and now they've got to do a lot more in terms of getting control of this bit. They've got the concern over towards the CCTV side as Shockwave throws a drone, and they're just going to make sure that they have the semblance of control before someone swings out and starts putting bodies down on this side roof. And you know, it's trying to find where Vitality are hiding now, because they started to roam quite aggressively in the previous map, or at least Stiggy and Qual did, and it was working very well for them. And Forza are going to try and make sure that they cut that out before it becomes another big problem here.
I don't like the fact that Vitality have not then went ahead and reinforced the bathroom as well. They have gave one of the walls soft. That just allows Rast to open up, and it gives them an entryway into the bathroom, and that is like the big point that everybody wants, defenders and attackers. So I don't really agree with that standpoint. Still though, the man inside of bathroom is alive. Nobody from Fours has put anything against it. Still just holding on to that little sliver of an angle he has. Has to be careful though, because a drone and a nade combination could send him to an early grave, and the peak comes around. Oh, but Rast just sprays him with a shotgun and will eliminate him, so that gives him access to bathroom. But still, that one man inside of bedroom is going to be the next issue, and does tag up Rast quite a bit. But there's the refrag though. Kama just walks straight on in. Bibu still going big. Oh, but it was a very short-lived dream for him. Now Brid, they know he's in office. Diffuser being planted, and Fours a clean take.
Yeah, for leaving everything to the final 20 seconds, they managed to make it all come together. And obviously, if that opening frag of inside the bathroom had gone the other way, it could have been a very different story. So, you know, they did well to kind of pull it together and make sure that it actually kind of stuck. Heading down to Church, it was you know, it's fair to say from Vitality's point of view to open with that, it was a bit of a risk, but it's going to be your third point anyway. So maybe try and take it as a semblance of surprise. If some teams do run a particular strategy against the basement that they otherwise don't take anywhere else, it can play to the favor. But this is a map where the double hard destruction is never really not wanted or warranted. There's always ways to try and make it work, always ways to try and fit it into whatever you're doing. And, you know, it's down now to Vitality to kind of start putting some numbers up on their defense, because if this divide starts to go a little bit away from them, if they hit this halftime with a 3-3, or you know, it can be something that Forza can really kind of take advantage of in their defending half.
Okay, now we head into the Church. Vitality bringing the kite, so that is going to be there specifically to try and deny some access to the Habana pellets or the Thermite charges. But whenever Thatcher's available, don't really know if that's going to help them that much. It really shouldn't do. You only see Kaid be really experimental and like heavily played whenever Thatcher isn't there. Other than that, it's a very simple counter, isn't it?
Yeah, it's something that these teams we know can kind of respond to as well, because we've seen one successful Kaid trick throughout this day, and otherwise it's just been timed well by the Thatcher, because the timings against the Habana pellets work into the favor of the Kaid, but against the Thermite charge, it's quicker for the Thermite charge to pop off, so it's very hard to actually catch one of those out. And you know, and with the amount of hard destruction that they have on both Pasha and Kama, doubling down with it, you would really think that just through brute forcing it, they can actually make some of this crack open. Not all that they want to, obviously. You kind of have a lot that you can potentially do on the basement point especially, but there's still a lot you can do. In the meantime, they're going for their top floor claw, starting in logistics with Pasha droning ahead, and they're making sure that they have, well, all the bodies accounted and marked down of Vitality before they start to try and close down on the basement.
So, Forge has taken their time, expected from them. It is the basement on Clubhouse, one of the most slowest played bomb sites in existence. And you would like to think that Forge, whenever they have all that control and can really take their time and methodically plan out their execute, it should favor them. They've looked very deadly whenever all 5 of them are alive, the way that they coordinate their attacks and the kind of refrags and stuff that they have. Oh no! The Kaid charge. Excellently timed from Stiggy, and that has denied access to blue. It's very unfortunate though, and I'm actually surprised that Forge even let that happen, but they have the Habana, they have the backup. Would have been a different story though if Habana was also banned.
Yeah, and I think the thing about that though is even Kama looked a little bit surprised that anyone would even try and stop the roll there. Maybe that's why they put the thermite charge, because they assume that no one is ever going to Kaid trick that. In the meantime, Rask opens up the round, taking care of Qual with a grenade. That's 2 for 2 in terms of opening frags, but Bibu this time is able to find one back and takes care of Shockwave. There's a fear off the table in trade of a Jaeger, is a trade that a lot of people would make, but they've still got a minute to try and close down and make sure that they can shut this push where it stands. The drones come through, and Bride is going to hold down in dirt as Kama, well, he's not going to push his way just yet. They have the hatches they need. They have the control. They're finding out how they want to do this push, and you can see them kind of regaining and regoling themselves to potentially swing around to a blue dirt push.
Everybody from 4 scattered around. Nobody's really together, so if they do drop, it's going to be a difficult one. One look in the drop kitchen, one in towards blue, one towards main stairs, and one on Moto. So it's going to be really tough for them to actually make this work, especially if they lose their opening 1v1s. Perhaps trying to walk in towards Armory, they've opened up in towards that. Smoke comes in from Bridge, just trying to deny access if anybody was in dirt, but a TK has come out though, and Kama, he's eliminated WTG, and Vitality, they capitalize on that.
Yeah, not really sure what the plan there was from Forza. As he said, they were so spread out. I called it that they were doing this push, and I wasn't wrong, but they were also trying to do it with 2 other pushes
trying to do every push
at the same time. They were trying to do everything, and
it's like whenever you answer the question, just all of the above.
Yeah, just cross.
You're not wrong, it's just...
Yeah, just they were also doing everything else. And you know, that doesn't really work on that point, because you're assuming... It's such a wide point, you have to almost set up and limit yourself to at least 2 of the 4 possible directions, and you set yourself up for the possibility of trades as well. Try and find a firefight in, try and find a little bit more of a kind of, you know, cleaner fight instead of, well, what we saw there. CC going to be the next point we Vitality take us to, and I guess we'll see if they can make something out of this place.
Attackers need to locate
Both Kaid and Bandit on the table, so they are going to try and hold this with a little bit of width, it seems.
Alrighty. Vitality. They get to go for the cash now, so rotating constantly. Again, just trying to keep 4s on their toes, but probably they wouldn't want to go back to gym and bedroom anyway, because it was not favorable to them whatsoever. Cash room should be a little bit easier without having to deal with Maverick, first of all, and also you'd have to deal with Capitao. So it makes not only your bandit trick a lot more viable, but also makes the catwalk man he's a bit more safe, isn't he? You don't have to worry about a firebolt coming in and taking up half the catwalk and you're just being pressured in, and then somebody just picks up a kill for you. Yeah, it's not the best whenever you have to fight against that operator, but still, for 4s, I imagine that they'll probably go with either the Sophia trick, where you can fire in the stun grenades through the drone hole, and it will catch Brid as he tries to go for the bandit trick, or they just go below and try and use Rask, who has, of course, the skeleton key can open up, or even a nade, and potentially confirm himself a kill also in the midst of that. I think 4s, yeah, they're going to try and go for, I think, the underneath approach.
Well, let's see if they can make something out of it. And in the meantime, it just seems to be, you know, the slow and steady from Forza. They're happy to weigh up all their options. They're happy to find a way in. And, you know, against a team like Vitality, where in the first map it worked very well because they were able to kind of counter the aggression. In the second map, not so much, because as we saw, if they leave themselves too limited on the time, if they don't try and get this front foot quickly, well, things start to, unfortunately, fall apart for them. And then from that point onwards, it was, you know, par for the course as they just took out body after body after body. They're holding angles. They're waiting for Vitality to swing in a little bit in front of them and be taken advantage of. But otherwise, with a minute 40 on and the ability to get in underneath, there's got actually Stiggy, which is quite a big pick there, taking care of, well, they've taken care of me, but more importantly, they're taking care of Sticky, I think is the fairer shout.
C4 as well, which can always prove dividend in the later stages for the defense. Still for 4s, they haven't opened up the breach as of yet, but they did open up below as I say that. Yeah, just... that was weird. Didn't look as if that was actually being banded, but it was. Huh.
Yeah.
Don't know how that happened.
It was Ghosts.
Was that a Ghost Bandit?
It was Ghost Bandit.
That was really strange.
Yeah, that was kind of peculiar. But hey,
it might have been the carried claw just for briefly, and then the EMP went off. I think that might have been it. Just like for a split second.
Either way, they've finally got the wall open, but a lot of teams will often have that same wall open with a minute extra on the clock. So that was a big time sink for Forza, and they've got a little bit of, well, trying to find more momentum on their side. All of the flashes are being thrown by Hibana, and WTG is trying to find some aggression against the man in the back, but Bibu does not fall. Spark, however, does, and that is the control of Garage done. With 30 seconds on the board, they've got to start making it work, and Pasha takes care of Qual, and that was a big moment. Qual was very clever to get aggressive against them underneath and try and slow the roll, and well, it worked a little bit. And there's another body, just kind of sacrificed, and another one as Forza lock up a round where they were a bit limited on time, but they found the pace to be able to bring it back.
And they did indeed. And, well, for Fours, they've just broke Vitality on the other off-bomb sites beside the church. If Vitality have gotten into a mind frame where they can only defend basements, I worry for them big time. It all depends on how well they can hold up. You cannot win a half just by winning one bomb site. Not going to work for you. If you look at Vitality, they defend church, they win that, they have to wait another 2 rounds before it comes around again.
Yeah,
it's just never going to work for them.
And the fact, obviously, that they took it as their second point as well, you know, at least it has the potential to come back in, but it's the risk, really. It's the plays that you've made, and you've got to try and find something. Opting, obviously, for the gym now instead, and this was a point where, obviously, it was a bit late, I think it's fair to say, on Forza's push, but when it came, it was effective. And I'm wondering if Vitality can start to maybe just pull a wheel out of the cart before it gets to that level of them being able to swing their way in.
Well, I mean, you look at the round that happened in gym the first time around, Fours had no intention of taking from construction or cash or anything like that. They were all in for Jacuzzi, in through the bathroom, and from there it was easy enough to pick up the frags and hold everybody away from construction. That was all they did. Very simple, very basic. It's up to Vitality to see how they can react and adapt to that. I would like to see somebody rotate below a C4. You can blow the man up if he tries to plant inside of gym. There's options there as well. For Fours, though, I feel as if they should still try and stick Pasha towards this side of the map and just leave him by himself to repel outside of the balcony, and you can open up the line near the server. So it means nobody can peek in towards that window, and it means that nobody can rotate as well in towards Garage, wherever they want to rotate into. It just gives them a little bit more safety, I think.
Wow, let's see what they can offer on this point that they otherwise couldn't before. Spark has found his way back around to the bandit tricking that he wants to try and pull off again. And, you know, again, getting through these bandits has been a little bit of a slow pace for Forza, whether they just kind of put it on a back burner because they're sure they can pull it off when they need to and they want to try and find out what the rest of Vitality is first, or not. It's always down to a team's kind of, well, what they deem as the next important thing that they have to get done. Rask is looking to get underneath, but with the 2 bodies and the one heading to strip, this might be something that ends a little bit quicker than otherwise could have thought. And there's Shockwave taking a huge amount of damage, but being able to get the shield. The man with the shotgun just round to the right could do something absolutely monumental here. And it's actually Brede who's going to pull a little bit further back as Spark goes for the double reinforce inside the bathroom, which is something that you had a problem with before.
That's what they should have done the first time around. It means that Fours now have to use even more utility and even more time to make this happen. And whenever it is a bandit, he can still bandit trick. Nobody can really stop him from doing so unless they open up above the reinforced wall and have Rask get a nade in. Don't even know what that was doing there. What was Bibu trying to achieve? I'd imagine killing Shockwave, but everybody's on that rooftop and strip anyway, so why would you go for that? Makes no sense.
You know, it's one of those decisions where you just kind of think, well, he's trying something. And as I said, they want to be able to pull something out of the defense, and they're trying to keep themselves active on a point where last time Forza were here, in the final 30 seconds, they collapsed and took everybody with them. Stiggy swings round, gets Shockwave, pulls at least something out of Forza's wheelhouse now. The Zephyr suffers yet again, but they've got to do more than just that. Qual is free to play a little bit underneath, has used the Nitro, but still has the possibility to cause some problems for a team that otherwise leaves their execute quite late. In the meantime, Camo has doubled back up on the window where they previously lost a body, but they're still concerned about the cover coming over the shoulder. Pasha can't quite fit through the crawl-in. That's some
He's had a mare.
It's very creative there.
No, it's not creative, it's just not good. Kama, though, still gets that frag and does alleviate a little bit of pressure, but does get caught out. He was waiting for that the entire round. Whenever he looks away, that's when it happens. Diffuser trying to get initiated, and it does. Brid, though, did take out Pasha, but now it's a post-plant. Rask on such low HP. It's in the bathroom corridor. Does get eliminated as well. So now 1 versus 3, and Vitality look as if they have the refrags and the manpower able to take this back from them. But still, WTG holding on. Anybody who can pop up from the attack will be this man. He has been great in these scenarios. Diffuser trying to get initiated. Needs this pick, though. Onto Brid, and he will find it now. Comes off of it, WTG! He makes that happen. A 1 versus 3 clutch for him. And oh boy, that's the player that always shows up for forwards in the clutch scenarios. It's WTG.
Yeah, that was an outstanding amount of game sense to wait.
Do you know what WTG stands for?
What does it stand for?
Way too good.
Yeah, probably. I mean, he's proving it now in spades. That was an exceptional kind of hold there, and that is the 3rd attack round in their favor. So when they swap to the defense on this clubhouse, you know, they have those 3 under their belt. They have some room to play with, and it's different to on bank where you're leading on the... Obviously, they opened on the defense. They were able to get 4 down, but it's sometimes harder for teams to take attacks on this map, and, you know, they're setting themselves in good stead to be able to clear through their second half.
Church now for Vitality. This is one that they did win, but I would say it was a very poor attacking half from Forge. You know, they did not have a good time here. They didn't have a clear indication of what they wanted to try and pressure. The fact that they then lost, I would say, a Thermite charge to the Electroclaw probably was a big dent. Means that you don't have the same resources to use X-Kairoses to try and open up in towards triple wall, give yourself another option, and they just kind of tried to force their way in free armory. It's not going to work. It just doesn't work. You need to try and take control of triple wall so nobody can sit in Church, because if you eliminate Church, nobody can really hold you from dropping Kitchen Hatch. Because if you have pressure coming in from Dirt, which they did, they had that open for a reason, it should just work for them, but sadly, it didn't. Spark, a little bit aggressive there, trying his hand at a spawn peak, but very quickly gets back downstairs.
Yeah, it doesn't quite come all together. And when a bandit is going for a spawn peak with 4 shockwires still in pocket, you're a little bit curious as to what the bandit is trying to bring there and why they've opted for the bandit spawn peak without playing any utility first, or whatever. Either way, Forza are going for their clear, they're going for their information here. They've obviously still got the camera and the Pasha and the double down on the hard destruction, and all of Vitality have otherwise fallen back towards the point, hoping to see a little bit more of a joined effort here from the side of Forza in the ability to force their way through onto point. Going to hold the angle, let the drone pass in front of them and wait for someone to drift just in the way, but in the meantime it allows them to keep this side unlocked as the rest steadily clear their way across. And if they weren't sure that someone was behind that box, well, now they are 100% sure.
So it'll probably be another slow start for Force. Just trying to make sure there's no electricals this time around, and I don't know if Stiggy timed that well enough. No, he didn't. Just unfortunate. Must have been about a second in between that. And Pasha has got the Moto hatch open. Other than that, Force just taking their time, trying to look for the picks in towards Armory. That's why they bring the buck. And yeah, just nice and slow. Expected, I would say, from Force.
Yeah, everything is currently working in their favor. It seems like the utility usage they've wanted to, you know, spend has been where they've wanted to spend it, and you can see cameras rotating to potentially be able to use this second Texan Dynamite against Church Wall, which makes way more sense than obviously where they were generally having to run stuff before. In the meantime, Pash is able to get it, but doesn't quite catch the impact trick, but WTG catches Stiggy and tears his head off from deep, and with the Kaid off the table, well, that's a big gun and a big operator and a big player and big bits of utility now out of the wheelhouse for this final minute on the push.
Still just lurking now. Fours looking for another slip up that Vitality can give them the entryway in. Drop from Rask in towards Moto. WTG will try and assist Shockwave as both of them pressuring towards Oil Pit. Still plenty of defenders in their way, goo mines as well. And this is kind of what you want from Vitality, though. Do not give it away. Just try and hold their hand, because they still have the smokes on the board that can try and deny access to said Moto, but it's down to Blue. It's the fight for Blue, Fluke.
Yeah, and well, the pings are coming out, but the man is rotated close, and he swings wide, and he can't quite find it. Shockwave locks down Qual, and it's a 5-3, but with 15 seconds, they have to make ground of it as they try and collapse down against the defender still, and we've seen this saved by a Hail Mary. Well, it takes more than that as they flawless their second spin round Church, and Forza are screaming their way towards the second map win.
Just fours have really stepped it up now. Their attacks have looked so dominant that round, just shows exactly what they're made of. Just right there, flawless on a basement is one of the hardest things to do. Very rarely we see Clubhouse basement play out like that. There's always a big, massive amount of bloodshed, but still, fours, 4-1 up. This is playing out exactly the same way that Border did. And if it does end up that same way, fours are looking to face Secret.
Yeah, and that is going to be a hell of a game because obviously, you know, Secret, they were in a league with Forza and they unfortunately couldn't quite make that top 2 positions that BDS and Forza did. And now those 2 teams that were a bit of a thorn in the side of Secret, who struggled early on in the season in those early games against the bigger teams like Forza, well, they want to try and kind of find some semblance of being like, okay, well, you beat us there, but this is us. This is our tournament. Yeah. We're taking the land spot, and we're taking our trip to Croatia.
And I always feel, for like the way the kind of system was for OGA Pit, you know, it's a lot different compared to what DreamHacks were, where you just got invited, you turned up to the LAN event and see how you did. For this tournament, you have to qualify for it through online. And I feel, for a lot of teams, if you do qualify for the LAN event through this tournament, it proves that you deserve the spot. It proves that you had to grind your way. And it's a much more of, I would say, a better feeling, isn't it? If you win the semi-final, you know you're going to LAN. You know you earned that.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing
it's a lot
about
better.
It is, you know, when you kind of put in the work and when you beat off a lot of teams, especially when you look at the teams that are fighting for this spot as well, like the lineup of potentials that we have in these semifinals.
My word. It's just all leftovers you didn't make Japan pretty much, isn't it?
Yeah.
Chuck in a couple of CL teams, well, former CL teams in there, but still.
Well, that's it. And, you know, it's nice to kind of see all of them kind of still keeping this aggression, still keeping this possibility of, well, this is what we're going to see as the scene gets better and better and develops as these teams that are mainstays are going to be more prevalent in other places so much quicker. Forza in getting this wall open, an entire minute and 10 seconds quicker.
Spark, first blood though. On to WTG. So the big clutch man off the table, and this does look a lot better for Vitali. Them getting their foot in the door first should help them in the long run. If Bank goes anything off it, whenever fours are on the back foot, Vitality, they were always there. They always had that man advantage. They played around with it, given them a bit more confidence, brought the breath of fresh air into the round. But we know fours, we know what they're like. They can clutch anything.
Yeah, and let's see if they can find something together on this. They hit the big wall open. They're Habanaing themselves more and more ground in underneath. They're going to try and get this spark out. And this is something we talked about a while ago of what operator do you like to throw up here. And this is one of the reasons you like to throw a Maestro. As I said, he can just set up his own cameras and watch them the same way the Echo can over an ACOG or a dock. And it means that he can just feed himself the information to do things like this, to apply his own counter pressure, apply his own kind of responses, and just cause himself such a drama because Spark, you know, what else does Spark need as he gets a triple kill, as body after body that he's already droned out falls to his favor.
Much better round from Vitality. Nice and clean. They take that one and, well, I want to say it gives them a fighting chance, but it's a fighting chance with still one hand tied behind your back, because now you have to go on the attack. But Vitality, they're a much better aggressive attacking team whenever we kind of set them up with maps like Bank, like Clubhouse. We know they can be deadly in many scenarios. This could be a turning point for them. At least gaining the 4-2 back kind of leads that to... It leads me to believe that Vitality still have a hope. But then you look at fours and what they've done in the defense. They had a much better defensive half in Bank. You know, you look at the 4-2. We didn't really get to see that much defensive halves from them on Border because they only had the 2. But even at that, they still look dominating in those. I just think it's still going to be really tough for Vitality, but there is hope. There is hope.
Well, let's see what they can make it work with on CCTV, opting for the point that they took pretty well the first time round and, well, nowhere near the second. But Vitality have their ability to kind of get this all droned in. Again, the double hard destruction. You're going to see that pretty continually because it just works. It works very, very well on this map and a lot of these points. And the way teams like to hold them as well, it all feeds in and filters together. They've got the double soft destruction as well in the hands of Bibu and Spark to be able to get in and underneath these kind of big wide points and able to open things like the wall, apply some counter pressure. They've got the grenades to try and cook the person out of the top here. As you can see, the Maestro is still up here, but this time it's the hands of Shockwave. You know, and this is the similarities we'll start to see on why this is a default kind of hold point.
Yeah, nothing really out of the ordinary for fours. A fairly standard lineup from them. Double denial though with the Kaid and the Bandit, something that Vitality also brought, but in the long run didn't really help them though. 4-4s. I would imagine that they'll try and put a lot of pressure in towards the garage, play somebody in behind motorcycles. They have the Electro Claws actually being used to stop the access in towards the garage. It kind of denies the little angle you can get up to the top window. We've just seen Bandit successfully Bandit trick a Thermite charge. What are Vitality doing? They should know that you cannot go for that unless you have either Capitao the guy out, which isn't going to be a thing because it's banned, or you go below with the Buck Skeleton Key. What are they doing?
Yeah, a couple of question moments, especially because you can see the Buck is droning it out and looking to get in position. So they try to, I guess, be a bit quick with it, but unfortunately it's been a bit costly. And let's see if they can kind of recoup some of their losses now as they start to actually attempt to clear via stock. In the meantime, pings are coming pretty continually. Obviously, Stiggy suffered from a pretty aggressive open there from Rusk, but is able to keep his life on the line. However, with all his EMPs burnt, at this point he is a gun and a drone, and he's going to see if he can do some damage. In the meantime, you can see Rask is wanting to be aggressive against this, going wide, going aggressive. In fact, it's Kama now, actually, who's taken up that mantle of aggression. With the drones coming in towards him, they'll be well aware of where he is, and he's going to have to rotate and pull out. And he is the person that they are trying to close out right now, because with him still alive, no one can get underneath Pasha to dig Pasha out.
Yeah, that's the pressure that we were expecting from fours, to not allow anybody from Vitality to gain that easy control. Minute to go, Vitality still don't have the breach open, still haven't eliminated Bandit. Time's just against them. They still have to also take Garage and Catwalk and everything in between that. This is not going to end well. That's an Electro Claw, I'm pretty sure, from the Kaid being tossed right up into it. And well, he can now just sit in behind motorcycles and hold as many angles as you want. Vitality, get a move on. There's only 30 seconds. You guys have literally done nothing. Nothing.
Well, they finally do something, and it's this is the wall, but they are leaving themselves one option alone. Bullets go towards the Habana. Potential comes in from the back as well, and they finally shut down for all the droning that went down. But 15 seconds, you have to collect that diffuser, and you have to dig in past a wall, past Rasgun, who's ready to pre-fire against this. Shockwave and WTG find one apiece, 5 seconds on the board, but at this point in a 2 versus 2, they just have to sit back and watch the timer tick over. At first, the first time we were on CCTV this map, and Forza got the wall open, and there was a minute left, I said, well, they've taken a long time to do that. And then I see that.
You ain't seen nothing yet.
Yeah, that was just... Nothing was really being done. With all the information that they had, they couldn't quite find a way to translate it to action. And, you know, I think even Forza were a bit surprised that they didn't really have to do much for most of that as well.
Yeah, it's just depressing, isn't it? Just watching a simple... Like, the whole thing about Cash is, yes, it can be tricky to kind of coordinate and get everything done, but for the most part, it's very simple and basic. You clear the Bandit, you open up the breach, you wrap around the garage, you clear the catwalk, and then you plant. You're taking a very small portion of the map compared to what you have to do for Church, which is literally just look for picks and try and drop down and win those 1v1s. Basically, it's laid out for you in little steps. Yeah. They're trying to jump the gun and do step 2, which is clear the garage without actually opening up the breach. That's the issue that they ran into, and well, Shockwave up there with the big LMG punished them for it.
Let's see if Church can be a slightly different story. Obviously, Vitality took it once on their attack, once on their defense even, and then Forza took it once on their attack. And it's the kind of breakdown, and this is a point where you would assume this would be one that can kind of swing potentially in the favor of defenders if they have a good strategy for it. They have the Kaid that we've seen be a bit of a swing force the time that obviously Vitality kept it on their defense, but if they take this, you know, with the performance that we just saw on that CCTV, I struggle to see Vitality pulling themselves back in. Because yes, if they lose this, then they can take Jim, and they might be able to take that as the enough point, but then they've got to go back to CCTV, and there's so many problems that needed to be fixed for them to make that a more convincing take, where they didn't even really begin to test what Forza were doing. And then even if they take that, they've then got to potentially come back to this point as well. So this could be a very big swing if they don't quite find this.
It still feels as if it's Forza's match to lose. It's still geared up in the driver seat. And Vitality, they just can't even get on the road. I really want to see a better attack from them, but I'm just not hopeful, Flug. I'm really not hopeful. I've never seen Vitality have that bad of an attack in my life. In my life. And Vitality, they've been around for a very long time. That is possibly the worst attack they have ever shown. Ever.
Yeah. It's just nothing kind of fell together, really, unfortunately. And well, let's see if they can be a little bit more similar to what we saw in the previous map. Wasting no time this time round, getting open all the hatches, and they realize that, yes, this is a big factor in how things went wrong previously. Going to hit this hatch and make sure they get this one open, as this is a very integral point to hit. The thermite charge rolls down. It cracks open as well, and that is a big, big point of entry now, as they pre-fire the corners to make sure that nobody is there. Either way, the drones are barreling towards the church side. They've seen the destruction that may have been laden around that wall as well, but if they can get themselves in and start putting some pressure against the point, well, you know, they've got plenty of time to think about that. In the meantime, they're being slow and steady, methodical, and with results, I think, is the main thing, because they were slow and steady in the previous round, but then they just didn't really do anything with it.
So, Vitality taking their time, but we hope it's not too much time. We have seen the quick entry in from Qual, and has gave his team the first kill onto Ras. That's the Jaeger off the table, but still more bodies that they have to try and find. But that's a good start for them. Hash is actually going to try an Electro Claw trick, the triple wall, but he can only take up 2 at a time. Can't get the third one, and without the bandit being chosen. Oh, Braid just catches Kami. Tried to go for a sneaky play, but gets punished for it. And Qual, also on very low HP, has to be careful. I like the position Baby was in, though. Tried to put pressure on Shockwave. He was still holding the one man on blue stairs. This could go either way, but still, I think it's looking good for Vitality. Definitely looking good for Vitality now.
Yeah, this is exactly what they were missing previously. They're being so precise on the execute. They're droning, they're getting the information, they're trying to impact trick it and hold on, but it doesn't matter when they just charge around and put you in the dirt. It's just Shockwave left, and he's opening a couple of the heads in the meantime, but Vitality, that is what we were missing on the previous round, and that gives you a bit of hope to pull this map back round in your favor.
That's the level that Vitality can play to, and whenever we see them not play that level, it's disappointing. This is what we ask from Vitality every single round, because we know they can produce it every single round. They have that potential. Still, they have to climb back a couple more rounds to try and bring it into an even field, but 4 still in the front position. Gym and bedroom now for them, so they've said, you know what, guys, church wasn't too good for us. Let's try something different. Let's try another upstairs. Let's try and give ourselves more options, because if you look at the church defense, you don't have a lot of aggressive factors that you can kind of add in there. You look at cash room, yes, we know you can play aggressive and in towards the lounge. We've seen 4s display that. Gym and bedroom, you can do the same. You can play aggressive in towards cash. You can have C4s from below. It just allows roamers have a little bit more say in it. And especially over 4s, they have these great roamers that we know can excel in the right circumstances. It makes sense.
Well, that's the thing as well, is it also allows you to bite back at setup time, and setup time works well, usually in the favor of Vitality. The more space and the more kind of balance that they can find in getting themselves in positions they want to be means that, well, as we saw that whenever Forza made a movement, Vitality were there to strike them down. However, you look at the moments where Forza have been able to find a little bit of width and a little bit of ability to pull apart those positions and make them a bit uncomfortable, like where Shockwave is currently playing with this Valkyrie cam that's going to go out, and this is where they can be able to bite back against Vitality's long setup time. Might be able to pull some bodies away before they, well, set themselves up to pull Forza to pieces. Ready for a very aggressive hold here. Camera is up on the top of walkway, waiting for someone to potentially come in from underneath, and the drones are being shot out with a pre-fire, and there is the wall being thermite almost immediately. They're going to rotate off, and they're going to find themselves in a safer spot as Qual and Stiggy double down, double up, and try to clear their way across.
So, Vitality will be looking to actually take the fight to fours on their off-site hold. Just a matter of fact of how well Vitality they can actually try and manage their time, more importantly, but also just take the gunfights. We know what fours are like. They have these fraggers. Ras below is already starting to try and put a bit of pressure onto the man in Garage, and he wins that gunfight against Bibi, where really he shouldn't have, and Shockwave even picks up another. So fours, they have shut down 2 players already from Vitality, and we're only a minute into the round.
Yeah, I think that's just, you know, exactly what we kind of said they were really good at. If they get in a situation where they can strike back in these positions and make them uncomfortable, well, this is how they do it. They position themselves a bit off the beaten path, and they're able to exploit Vitality's slow and methodical system by finding the flaws in the maths. At this point, there's a minute 30. Vitality have to have a bit of pace. That Stiggy often was the one that bought in their favor, but they still obviously have a good set of players up, and they have that main wall of Jacuzzi open. However, making it come to fruition with Bride a little bit lost for pause there on the far side, well, I guess, you know, you've got to think, well, there's not a huge amount of time. Worried about the Valkyrie on the close corners, worried about the run out as soon as the rappel happens, which is, again, something that they can be struck by, and is just kind of dancing and baiting and paying and playing so far.
Yeah, looking for a pick for Vitality, but nobody from fours really want to give themselves away. The quick rotation from Shockwave keeps them out of harm's way. Oh, the quick run-in as well, and, well, Brady's hunting for the kill. I don't know if Shockwave is ready for it as he just gets out of there in the nick of time. Split second. Cut by a hair there, and, well, Vitality, they've made their way in construction, but they're just clumping up now. They're stacking together, and the crossfires from fours, this should be an easy shutout from them.
Yeah, with 30 seconds on the board, they still have a lot of the angle controls. However, Bride finds WTG in and amongst it, flashing the man on the stairs, but the crossfire is there, and that's another one for Bride. It has suddenly started to stack up from the logistics side. Pasha is dug in the bathroom, and they have some from below with the C4 potential of the Valkyrie, and that could be big, but Pasha is going to try and make it big themselves. No! Picked off by the C4! It is just the 1 versus 1. They have to get the plant down, and Bride is going to have to stick it as Shockwave screams up, and no Vitality! Out of absolutely nowhere, Bride brings the round in for the French team.
Saved by the bell. Just right on the edge of time running out. He beats it. He beats the timer. And oh my, Vitality, in a round which they never looked poised to try and take. My word, they made it happen. They really made it happen. Thanks to Brid, I think, has gone to the stage in this game where he's like, I really don't care, guys, what we have to do. I'm just going to walk in and kill them. Just throw the book, the strap back out the window. There's no point just sitting about, guys. Let's just try and take the gunfights.
Yeah, the risk of saying, well, he's pushing, and I'm going to take that. I say risk, there probably was some information being fed to him about it, but again, making that play kind of come together, knowing it's going to boil down to a 1 versus 1 firefight, and yeah, God. Well, that in a way kind of makes up for some of the mistakes on their CCTV, but they're back there, and this is when they can really make up for it. If they can pull themselves level on a point where they otherwise look pretty disastrous, it could really swing a bit of favor their way. Either way, Forza, they need to regain some of the confidence that they had when they were able to take 3 rounds in a row, because if this one slips, who knows how this game can go.
Yeah, we have the cash, which is probably bit of a scary factor if you're Vitality. You got absolutely decimated the last time you tried to attack this. How have you managed to change things up? Have you actually discovered that, hold on a minute, guys, we can't attack unless we get the wall open? I really hope they figured it out. And more importantly, they figured out that, hold on a minute, we can't open up the wall unless we take control of Lounge. Just simple mistakes did cost Vitality the round, and hopefully they have kind of put those differences aside and has pushed on.
Shockwave back on the top of Garage and waiting for someone to drift into sightline, as is tradition up here, and trying to hold on to the angle. And again, what we're trying to hope here from Vitality is the ability to collapse the same way we've seen. Well, maybe not in the round we just saw, because it was exceptional, but it was down to the wire. But the round before that, where it was a really, really brilliant dissection of the Church defense. And At the same time, Forza, I guess they're getting a bit too comfortable, a bit too confident, a bit too cocky. And look at Rask on the far side around Strip waiting for a run out. And this seems like Forza want to respond with a bit more of the aggression that has been a big force for them to be able to act in their favor.
Yeah, not having Kama down in the motorcycle pit is a bit of a surprising one. Instead, up in the catwalk, and Rask, who you said was lurking around for that long flank, has managed to jump out and eliminate Stiggy, who was outside of that garage breach. So, does give Forza that upper edge, and whenever we see them have that man advantage, they very rarely lose that unless they're playing Jim.
Yeah, well, we've lost the Thatcher as well. So for a wall that was a struggle, you hope Vitality's found a fresh method, and it sounds like they have, as it does fall, and that is a very good thing, because if that hadn't have worked for them, that would have been an absolute nightmare.
But now I'm curious to see how they will kind of push in and try and take control of the catwalk, because there's no Capitao since it was banned by Force. Do we have nades still from Spark? Is he going to be in position to try and utilize them? He still has all two. Okay, so this is now going to be the option for Vitality. Will be using the frag grenades, but Bibi, he just eliminates Shockwave right off the rip, lands the headshot. And well, a minute to go. They kind of have catwalk control as a flying Kaye drops down. Quick refrag, though, from Buck. Another one as well for Vitality, 2 for Spark. And now it is down to WTG and Pasha.
Well, for being the man down, they've swung this more than their favor, and Vitality are refusing to let this map slip through. From a 5-2 to what looks like a 5-5, it's been an exceptional swing of rounds in their favor, but they've still got to find the finish on this one. And with 30 seconds, a smoke and a bandit left to get through, I mean, it's not completely over yet. We hear a canister pop down, concerned about someone rotating via red, but in the meantime, they're still droning. They're still happy to play a little bit slowly here. Vitality set up their crossfires, set up their angles, and see if they can make it work. A smoke grenade from deep, doesn't want to throw his life away, and with 10 seconds left on the board, they're throwing everything and everything to try and stem the roll. The plant is going in, the last smoke canister goes in, the man is underneath, and he's able to stop it. WDG finds Qual, the diffuser is cold on the floor, he finds another one, and he's just gonna sit and wait for the round to tick out.
These rounds are way too close for comfort. Every single round, pretty much, even on Bank as well, came so close to swaying one side or the other. It has been insane. Insane. Four just barely pulled that out. The C4, though, from Pasha was like just the perfect timing. You either seen Qual go for the stick, or else he was forced into the lines of sight of WTG, which happened. And well, from there, just everything for Force. And now they are at match point, series point.
2 rounds in it. 2 rounds and 2 points that, well, they've already lost. Church, you're thinking, and either a double down on that if they lose it again, or Jim, they're not choosing open. As we said, it's a free point. You've got to opt for one of these other two. It doesn't even matter if you're trying to beat the beaten path. It's too weak compared to how the rest of them can actually offer some substance and control. Their last hold on Church was not great. However, the attack that they won on Church was the only flawless round in the game so far, so they do have the ability to learn from their mistakes because, well, their first attack on Church was, again, not great. So you're kind of hoping from Forza, if you're a Forza fan, that they're going to learn a little bit of a lesson in terms of their defense. At the same time, Vitality, from what are rounds where things looked completely lost, they have really started to pull themselves back into the game. Close to pulling that off, with each player being able to start to stand up when it really matters, but you've got to go the distance now. 2 more rounds to push it to OT. 2 more rounds, 2 that you have won before. You just got to do it again.
How will Force adapt to their Church? Last time, Vitality, they had a really strong attack. There was nothing that was really a hassle for them. Force just set up very basic, didn't add any aggression into the spice of things. And from their Vitality, they just picked apart in typical Vitality fashion. I would like to see a bit more aggressive roam game from Force. I think that's something that they need. Perhaps we could see some late rotates from them. I think that's definitely in the cards, but the way then that Vitality, they pressure, they have one guy in blue stairs and one guy also in oil pit, so perhaps that's out of the question as well. I don't know, perhaps they're kind of playing off Shockwave, getting an opening C4 kill to really set them up nice.
Well, either way, Stiggy is a man of a moment. He's finding a little bit of pace underneath. As mostly got taken out before they really found their swing from a great run out. And you can see that they're making sure that they have all their cover. And I really like the ferocity that Vitality brings to this basement point, because it's something that when they're missing it, things fall apart. You give Forza some ground and they are able to take a lot of it back. In the same time, they've obviously got all 5 bodies down on this basement. They're trying to look for the crossfires, trying to look for doubling up on the angles. It didn't really work for them before, but again, they're a team that can learn, they're a team that can adapt, and they're a team with a lot of gun skill. So maybe this time around, they might be able to make some of it work in their favor. In the meantime, Bibu is not going to let Rask try to find out the answer as he drops him before the question is raised. They're going to open up the barbed wire, put the pressure down on Blue and Oil Pit, and start to steady the roll against the Church.
Again, for Vitality, they get that opening pick and just puts fours at that back foot position. Still though, a lot of utility still lurking in the back pocket. Qual will go ahead and open up the triple wall. That's an unfortunate bandit trick miss, but then Qual doesn't... Oh, it was weird. It didn't do the whole detonation thing. That must be on our side, but still, it's open nonetheless. Kama making the same play that he went for last time, and will punished again, like last time. Why go for it again? I don't know. And fours now, they have really backed themselves up into a corner. WTG is looking for the flank, but there's probably going to be a Claymore, and he can't really get past that. Shockwave does pick up one, and so does Pasha now, aggressive in towards the triple wall. 2 of them breathing down his neck. There's Brid, eliminates Shockwave, but still Pasha alive and well. Has the MP7 in hand, waiting for somebody to peek in. WTG has the crossfire. Oh, but look! Brid out of nowhere, creeping up towards the main corridor. Into Church he goes. WTG has to clutch it, but no! Vitality, they hang on, and they take it another round further. 6-5 the score. Are we going to go to another overtime fluke?
That's down to Vitality. That is, you know, we look now at the match point. Church, both times, hasn't been good. It was slightly better from Forza, but it hasn't been good. Jim was heroic efforts of generally a single man that brought them back into it.
Indeed.
It came down so close to the wire. I'm a little bit curious why they didn't go Jim that previous round and try and make it work then. In hindsight, you'd think, well, we were very close on Jim, let's double down. But then at the same time, Vitality, they're a team that learns. And, you know, it's that kind of balance of how many times can those run-out tricks, that level of aggression work. And, you know, I guess we'll have to find out here. 6-5. Forza still sit on map and series point. Vitality have the momentum back in their favor. They were able to take it last time, as we said, with some pretty outlandish heroics. Can they double down? Can they repeat that and find themselves pushing into OT?
Big questions. Vitality, pressure on yourself to make this comeback real and give yourself another OT and potentially knock fours out. It's been a heated match. If any of the matches we kind of pitched today would be close, it would be this one, and it has lived up to the kind of glory. And we couldn't really ask for it to be a better way. So many moments, so many ups, so many lows, but definitely a lot more clutches than what we're used to. Well, we'll see how Force can try and hold their gym and bedroom. Again, starting up with just a very standard setup, holding in towards Cash Room. They have the Electro Claws, I'd imagine, on the double wall. Not bringing the Bandit, though, which is quite strange. Generally, we would see that Operator being comboed with the Bandit. Electro Claw actually being placed in towards the server side of things, which is strange. I would have really expected them to try and hunker down and go for the Kai trick, but I suppose whenever Vitality are not interested at all of going for Jacuzzi first, it makes sense. So Vitality will try and play the round out pretty much the exact same way as they did last time, but the last time they tried to clear out roamers, they got picked off one by one.
Yeah, and I think that's the kind of way that I think Forza are going to try and hope to take this again, because we saw it stumble, Vitality. The Hibana was stuck there until anyone else kind of came and offered a bit of support, and you know, you don't want to have that much time wasted because, yeah, they pulled off the round, but I don't think we'll ever see well, it's rare to see a round be that late and that aggressively fashioned. Either way, it's a little bit of a dead space now. As Forza, they're still kind of weighing up where the options are coming from. They've pulled themselves back with well, minus Rask, who's ready to go for some run-out aggression, but obviously doesn't want to time it poorly, because if they do and they get dropped, well, that's a big thing. But there it is, the opener for Rask, as he takes care of Spark, and he takes the buck out of a board, and Spark was able to find the double in the previous round, so it's a big swing in their favor. Can Vitality find the response here?
They need to find the response. They need to try and pull it back, because they just can't rely on Brid to clutch it up again. Stiggy has limited that castle barricade, but he doesn't know that somebody's right below the window. One inside of logistics will try and keep him at bay, but they don't have a clue that there is a man just sitting. Happily enough, Kama doesn't need to do anything. He can apply pressure. If somebody does jump in, that's an easy kill for him. Gets droned out, though. And now he's in for a world of hurt, but still wins that against Bibu. Somehow, some way, he is pulled off. Even peeking around, barely misses out on the kill on Brid. Takes a lot of damage, and so is Shockwave. But still, it has to neutralize the push, and Vitality, they look as if they're crumbling.
Well, Stiggy finds one back in the favor, takes a reload in a very open space, and pays the price of doing it. Drop to the floor, down to the two hard destructors left. If they can find Stiggy and get the pickup, I would be surprised, but with 15 seconds on the board, Qual is going to start trying to clear his way through from the opposite side. They're going for the pickup. They know they need the extra gun on the push because they don't have the health to take it themselves. Swing around the corner and they find one, but there's one going the other way as well. You can see them pull back. Pasha is dug in on the bathroom, waiting for the clear-in, but there it is! Forza take the second map for their pool, take the round, and take the final EU semi-final spot.
Wow. Again, just another round that could have went either way, but time is the worst enemy for Vitality. They always has been. Time has never been kind to them, but hey, that's Siege for you, and well, Forge, they just about make it through.
Yeah, that was some skinnier teeth moments, and we'll have a look at how that affects the bracket. The very first third map we've seen in all of EU, so it may as well be the last of the quarterfinals. However, there's still 3 play days left. One of those is those 2 matches on the right-hand side. Semi-final spots wanted from G2 versus BDS and Secret versus Forza.
Wow. 3 previous EUCL Season 10 teams into the semis. If anybody questions EUCL, do not, because you will look like a fool. Oh well, look, what a day, Siege. What a day.
Yeah, and there's only 3 days left. Obviously, thank you everyone for watching the games that we've had so far. I'm sure a lot of you have made your predictions on Strafe, but for those who are unaware, 3 more play days over the next 3 days. Tomorrow is LATAM, where we'll find out the 2 teams coming out to Croatia in the beginning of December for the minor. And then it's, I believe, NA, and then it's EU. A lot of big names, a lot of big players, and well, we're still not done here. Thank you everyone for watching. I've been Captain Fluke. I've been joined by Demo. And Demo himself will see you tomorrow alongside good old Sternab. See you then.
predict the outcome, win the game. Get live coverage and schedules for your favorite tournaments. Analyze, predict, and vote to gain points. Compete with other esports fans and climb the leaderboards. Strafe, everything esports. Download now on iOS and Android.